Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the Coach's Corner. We're in our For More for Life campaign, where we are getting ourselves ready for the new year to come and the decade as it continues. For More for Life, not just more on the external side, but more on the internal. Today we want to talk about the campaign Stump, your campaign Stump, and your security detail. The question I want to ask you is, before you speak, spin, spit, and spat, are you secure? Are you secure? Let's talk about it on the Coach's Corner. Thanks for following me on Spreaker, Facebook, Voicecast, Ustream, YouTube, Twitter, and beyond. This is the Coach. Stand by. Well, welcome aboard again to another edition of Day 17. I believe it's Day 17. The Coach's Corner campaign, For More for Life campaign. The Coach's Corner campaign. Not my campaign. It's your campaign. I got my own campaign going on. Question is, are you secure? Are you secure? And before you speak, spin, spit, and spat, are you secure? Have you given any thought as to your security detail as you prepare to go out on the stump? Now, we've assumed a lot here because I haven't heard from you. Why haven't I heard from you? Global coverage at email at selectusatv.info. And then the Coach's Corner has its own fan page on Facebook. The Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio. I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard an encouraging word, or Coach Marcus, I've decided to run for More for Life campaign. I haven't heard from you on Twitter. You all know who I'm talking about. Now, some I have heard from. The ones that I've heard from, you ain't got to worry about this right here. Okay? But the ones that I haven't heard from, you know you have had an urge to drop me a note. Drop me a note. Because you know what? You're going to need that camaraderie. Staying silent on the subjects on the table is not going to help your situation. You see what I'm saying? Staying secretive in the booth in the back. You're going to have to expose yourself and let everybody know you're running for More for Life. You see what I'm saying? And there are ways that you can keep certain things on the spin table, as they say. And then there are some things that you're just going to have to let folk know. You're going to have to let them know, So I'm looking to hear from you this week. We're getting to be real busy here at the station. It's just in general. But I'm still looking to hear from you. And you can leave your notes right there wherever you're listening. If you're listening on our broadcast platforms, then leave your notes there. We'll get them. If you're listening on Ustream, if you're listening right there on our website, our block programming on our website. Block programming means the station is up and running as we continue to develop program. This is not a news segment about SIBN Radio, but what I'm saying to you is that we need to hear from you. So you can go to our website, www.sibntelevision.com, and you can click on the community page and join the pulse there, or you can just simply, communicate with us, or leave us a note, or connect with us through email right there on the website, as well as listen. So block programming is available on the website, by the way. All the content that we rotate and more to come. Well, we had a great set of meetings this week about programming, and some great things are on the horizon for international programming as well. So listen, thank you so very much. Again, we're talking about your campaign for More for Life security detail. If you had already announced, let me just say this, had you had your series of meetings and where you begin to vet folks in your inner circle, which I encourage you to do before you run. You need to vet, make sure you ain't got no leaks and creeps up in your camp before you run for More for Life, because those are the spoilers. Those are the people that kill momentum. But had you already run, had you already announced, had you already decided, had you already had the courage, you see, because I don't even know that you're running, and I'm the coach. I don't know that you're running. Your wife may not know that you're running. Your girlfriend don't know that you're running. So if people haven't been informed that you're running for more for life and 30 days toward change, 90 days for sure toward a change that I can live with, then how you expect to be secure in the transition of acquiring the votes, the support? You know, sometimes I just feel like I'm just beyond myself. You know, am I talking to anybody in radio land today? You haven't structured this thing, and you can do. I told you 1,000 times, and we'll tell you 1,000 more that you can do this. This is doable. We all have made mistakes. Why haven't you decided you're gonna run for more for life? What are you waiting on? Because you got to have security out there on the stump, and let's talk about that for a minute. As I said, if you had already announced, if you had already been serious, if you had already picked up momentum, some of you have been serious, your security detail would have been covered. In the political world, your security detail would have been covered by the federal government. Well, in the personal world, your security is covered by the inner circle. And so it leads me to ask you a couple of questions. Who's qualified to protect you? Who's qualified? We spend so much time trying to survive situations, and we spend so much time trying to deny what we had to survive and what we had to do while we're surviving. I felt that right there. That we don't give any thought to who is qualified to protect us in the new day, in the new experience, in the new situation. We just keep carrying on these baggage situations and keep marrying them to the now and the new, that the new never has a chance to breathe, and we never answer the question, who is qualified to protect me? I'm going to go deeper in this. Who has the experience that is in my inner circle? But then again, who would provide nothing but leaks in my security detail? Why, Marcus, why do I need security? If you're talking about me changing jobs, let me tell you something. If you talk about changing jobs, you need security. Some of y'all talking about getting out from under a toxic relationship where you're being hurt and harmed and your kids are at risk. You're going to need some security. Some of y'all talking about going back to school and bettering yourself and getting your master's degree. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need some security. Any change or transition that you're going to need that brings more into your life and brings change, you need security. And I'm not talking about some raggedy ass, about ready to go off here. I'm not talking about a raggedy edge security guard paid $2 an hour and talking about, hold up, let me see your ID. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a security plan. Who's going to keep you safe? Who's going to keep those that care about you safe? Who's going to make sure you have several things in place? Let's talk about those things in place real quick, because we don't have a lot of time and I got a lot of work to do today. First of all, we're going to talk about your communications. If something happened to you, how do we communicate with you in your inner circle? You see, so many people are so busy fussing, fighting, arguing, but drama for your mama, trying to be the center of attention, trying to impress, trying to run with popular people. And if that's your thing, hey, that's cool. But make sure you establish a baseline of communication, so that yours and those that are close to you in the inner circle, particularly in the inner circle, are prepared for any situation and can thoroughly assess and respond to any situation regarding threats against your For More for Life campaign for change or transition. You might have to rewind that and listen to that again, because I told you I can go. I can go. So you got to keep up. Take notes. Listen again. Download. Listen while you sleep. Listen while you're cooking. Listen unintentionally so that you can get intentionally into your subconscious mind what you consciously don't plan to remember, mean to remember, but don't plan to because you're not listening at the right time. Felt that right there. You got to listen unintently, intentionally, unintent. You get it. You got to, the brain is a muscle. You got to play a back trick on it. Listen while you are doing something else, and guess what? Your senses will peak. Your senses will peak, and then you'll hear subconsciously what you're meaning to retain consciously. I don't have time to go into that. Let me keep going about your security detail, okay? Who's qualified to protect you? Listen, we got to make sure we have communication so that all in your inner circle are thoroughly prepared. Now, it's tailored to wherever you want it to be. These things that I'm talking about are tailored to whatever you want it to be. But as long as you're getting for more for life, as long as you're getting the change that you can live with, as long as you're making it through to a higher transition, that's the end outcome here. So your inner circle. See, part of the problem with a lot of you is that, and part of my problem is that when you've been victimized, I need to talk about that right there. When you've been victimized, you tend to open your mouth and talk to everybody. When you've been victimized and you've been in denial and you've been in survival mode, you tend to go off in a good way, telling folk all your ideas, telling folks all what you plan to do, and you ain't got no damn security, excuse me, but you ain't got no damn security, and you wide open, and you got targets on your back, and then you wonder why you're getting hated on. You wonder why you're getting sabotaged. You wonder why people are stealing your concepts and ideas, because you talk too much. You can't talk without having preparation or situational assessments and responses. And then on top of all of that, you need to have the proper evac policies in place when you get ready to go out on the stump. See, the stump right here is your job. Let me talk for a minute. The stump right here is your church, and a whole lot of y'all go to church. That's the stump while you playing, and you're going to need more security in a spiritual environment than you are going to be in a all-natural pagan, if you will, environment. You need to take your security detail to church with you the next time you go. I double, triple dare you to get me to talk about that. I can tell you about one time how somebody came to threaten me at church with a gun. Yes, sir. You want to know, ask me. All right? But you got to have an evac plan. In the case of emergency, how you going to get the heck out of the place where you are? In the case of an emergency, we're late, y'all. We're late to the campaign. We're late to the game and still want to win. I don't understand how we're going to win like this, but we're going to win when we have our own inner circle protected with security detail. Now, if you were serious by now, as we said in the natural world, the federal government would have picked it up. Where if you had been serious about your campaign for more for life, you already know that God would have had to pick up your tab, and the angels of the Lord would have been camped round about you, lest you dash your feet against your stone. But up to now, you have not been serious about your campaign. You have not announced your campaign. You say you want more. You say you want more life, but you're not serious. You're talking and spinning and spitting and spatting, but you haven't proven. You haven't proven you ready to do this thing as a group. It's not just you anymore. It's not just you and your body. It's not just you and your check. It's not just you and your contract. It's not just you and your homeboys and your homegirl. It's you and your inner circle. What's your evac plan? Because you best believe we're going to need one. I've been working on some new evac plans. Okay. New evac plans. And what's your ICOA plans? In case of an emergency. I call it ICOA. See, what's your ICOA? In case you lose your job, what you gonna do? You trying to? I'm gonna tell you. Let me back this thing up. If you say you're gonna go for change, let me tell you a couple of things that's gonna happen. You're gonna knock up on some real negative backlash. Anytime you say you're going to transition, now some of y'all already know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all don't. So we're going to repeat it anyway for all involved. Anytime you say you're going to change something, Anytime you say you're going to transition, I'm going to move away from there to go over here, you're going to encounter backlash. I could go into a whole lot of reasons why you're going to encounter backlash, but I don't have the time. And if you were in communication with me, I could send you some emails. I could create some other things that will help answer some of your questions, but I ain't heard from you, so you're going to have to go without that one. But backlash happens when you say you're going to change something. And the backlash first occurs to test the intent of your change. This all of us, me included. I'm just telling you about it because I know about it. I ain't telling you about it because I'm above it. That's one of the reasons that qualifies me to be on the microphone, because I'm telling you about my mistakes. I'm disguising them in these terms and these ways of saying things, but I'm telling you about how I was. And in a lot of cases still is, if I could use that English for all those professors out there that may be listening. You know? But listen. Are you serious about your change? And listen. Let me encourage you on something. You ain't got to change everything. See, that's where we get messed up. That's the immaturity right there. You trying to change too much too fast. And you ain't going to get no votes that way. You got to get one thread in your life. One thing that you want to be able to live with. For me, it was getting away from what other people gave me as ideas and even what I imagine as the central idea, and to land on the purposeful and the mission. The purposeful idea and the mission guided ideas. You see, the legacy ideas. See, because overcompensation is never an allotment for affirmation. It's not. It's not. You want to change, you're gonna run into some negative backlash. To test the authenticity of your intention to change. To test whether or not the prints from the booth in the back of your subconscious mind will come to the front of your mind and say, well, according to our prints, according to our data, you're unable to do this because you X, Y, and Z. And then you're going to be tested to see whether or not, no, we're going to delete that now. And we're going to now add a new print, new data to store in its place that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I felt that right there. Oh, that word, that scripture, for those of you that are church folk, that scripture right there has 4 levels of confidence in it. I don't have time to go into it with you. That scripture has 4 levels of confidence in it. So let's get back to what happens. When you say you want to have change, backlash occurs. To test the intent and the authenticity of your desire to change, to see whether or not you're going to have the discipline to change, to see whether or not you're going to hold to a determination of change. Good God of mercy. See? And so that's why a lot of you haven't announced, because you know this. You know all hell is getting ready to break loose if you say you finna break off that relationship with X, Y, and Z. And I'm telling you, there ain't nothing like a physical storm where your hormones and your body is in a physical storm and your mind is trying to cipher out what to do, but your spirit has told you what is right and you are ignoring it. That's a perfect storm right there. So as I close, before you speak, spin, spit, and spat, are you secure? If you've reached a certain level of seriousness and determination, desire, and discipline, your security detail will have been already paid for. But you got to make up your mind yet still. The last thing I want to talk about, other than who's qualified to protect you, is what is your threat assessment. There is a threat assessment that needs to be made if you're going to make any change for life. As I said, if you want to do anything in life that's beyond where you are now, what you have now, where you've been before, you're going to have to endure a sit down with your inner circle. And your inner circle starts with body, soul, and spirit, communing with the divine power above the physical atmosphere. conducting a conversation, and then it extends to those who believe in you, and those who call you forth, and those who pray for you, and those who say you can do better, and those who advise you and say, not now, don't do that, wrong timing, wrong season. Oh, you know, and we resist. We resist advice all the time. I understand. But if you're gonna change, you're gonna have to be secure in your change. So what's your security plan? What's your security detail look like? And have you done a threat assessment? Because everybody don't like you. Everybody's not for you. Everybody does not want what you want. Somebody want to take you out. Do you know about those threats? And what are you doing about it? This is the coach. I'll see you on the next one.